Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Well, today we're having what we call a Nordic showcase to showcase mainly what we do in our Bemidji 500 Sons of Norway Lodge here. The main purpose of this is to show what we're comprised of, what we do, different things we have in our lodge, a library, language group, singing group actually. It's just to showcase the varied talents of different people and the heritage and culture of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, and Finland actually. We have many varieties of food here made by our lodge members that have volunteered to make different things. We have rosettes, sandbakkels, krumkake, flatbrød, lefse that my wife and I have brought down.
It's kind of I would say a poor person's food. I mean, it's very basic, flour and potatoes. Norway didn't always have potatoes, but when potatoes were introduced, then I think that's when they started going on the lefse recipe. And then, of course, when they came over here to America, then that was kind of the common thread, I think, that brought all these Norwegians together, was making their different kinds of lefse.
The style I usually work in is Rogaland style, and it's symmetrical, and it has a lot of shading in it. It's easy to teach to students because it has rules and regulations, and every color has 3 or 4 shades in it. The Hallingdal style is also symmetrical, but it has no shading in it. It's all done with overlay, and it's done with round brushes. And the Telemark style is this, and it's asymmetrical, and it has shading and a lot of detail in it. Every district has its own style. Every area has its own style, a little different. They started doing it because it was dark and dreary, and they wanted to brighten up their cottages, their homes, and their furniture, and so they started painting brightly colored designs.
I wrote this book. It's the title of the book is 60 Years of Country Living in Northern Minnesota, and it's 4 chapters. It's guiding bear hunters, raising cattle, dark house fishing, and trapping. That's what I've been doing in the last 62 years now. Yeah, you can learn how to call a fox and kiss a girl at the same time. Yeah.
Part of our purpose in hosting this event is also to promote goodwill in the community, but it's also to promote camaraderie and fellowship within the membership that we have. We have about 150 members.
This is called a skinne in Norway. It's a horsehead ale bowl, and these were used for drinking beer from mostly in Western Norway, and they would have their own beer bowl along when they went to weddings, and they also used them at funerals. This one is painted by Bård Clevey, who comes from Telemark in Norway, and it was common for the painter to write kind of a poem onto the bowl. And this one, which were written in Norwegian, and they kind of rhyme. So this one, it says, "Drikk ølet før det dovner, kyss jenta før noen savner." And if you translate to English, it won't rhyme, but drink the beer before it gets stale, kiss the girl before she goes to sleep. This is what they call the canthus carving, and it came to Norway with church carving about 250 years ago. Here you have, this is the root, the center here. It's got a root, and then it's a plant form that grows out from the root. So from this root, it goes this way and this way. And then these buds are kind of like where it's going to shoot out another stem. But it's kind of like a spiral. But it's very similar to rose malling in ways. These cartoon characters, Olan Per, were in the Dakotaposten, the Norwegian newspaper, that, well, it's no longer in existence, but this cartoon ran from World War I till World War II. Anyway, Ola, he supposedly came from Hallingdal in Norway and used a Halling dialect. And Per was from Hadeland, and more closer to Oslo, so he used more of a flatland dialect. And then Per, he didn't like work too well, so he always wore this tuxedo. And the old Norwegians felt if you were dressed up, you didn't work, so he was always dressed up. This is what they call the dragon style carving. Here it's kind of an intertwining of, they call them beasts, an intertwining of beasts, but they're like dragons. You can see the head of this one biting the other one. And this one is biting the other one, and then they're intertwined. But this goes back to the Stav churches. I think it's before Christianity in Norway. The pagans used this dragon style. You'll find it even on the Viking ships, and it's really Norwegian. It's truly Norwegian.
We hope that a lot of people from the community will see what we are and what we're about and will want to join with us.
If you enjoyed this segment of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org. If you have segment ideas pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund by the vote of the people on November 4th, 2008.